It's a good thing. It's made us strong as an economy. But there's a difference between capitalism, in which the benefits and the wealth are shared by all who made that company strong, and the sheer unmitigated greed that is driving so many of the decisions today. In the airline industry, you have sometimes a CEO who takes $200 million bonuses while his workers are taking 40% pay cuts to handle the bags and to write the tickets and to check you into the gate. There's something wrong with the system that creates that kind of disconnect. And you need a Republican president who will call it like it is and tell the truth, and who will say enough is enough. And quite frankly, you don't want a Republican Party and you don't want a president who is a wholly owned subsidiary of Wall Street or anybody else. You want somebody who belongs to you, who's not owned by anybody else. You want a president who believes that life is precious and sacred, and who believes the family is important. And not just somebody who says it and believes it, but somebody who's actually done something about it in his state. And someone who has a record of governing and leading. And that's what this election is going to ultimately be about. Not simply the talk, but the walk. And Saturday is going to be an opportunity for you to show up at Ames with your vote. And when you do that, we're going to make some folks true believers in what's going to be happening over the next several months. Not everybody's going to come out of Ames, I'm pretty sure. But we plan to, with your help. Something that I can't help but think about is that all of us who enjoy the shade of this place have a lot to lose or to gain by what happens in Ames. The eyes of the world are going to be on you. And sometimes you may think, well, what difference can I make? What impact can I have? Your vote Saturday is going to have a dramatic impact. Please don't tell us you have an excuse for not being there, unless you're going to tell me that you've already decided to vote for somebody else, and then we don't want you there Saturday. We'll find you something else to do if you plan on voting for anybody else. But if you're going to be there to vote for us, don't let a ticket be an impediment. Don't let the transportation be an impediment. We need you to sign the card and tell us that you'll be there with us on that day. But we need you to come not alone, but with a friend and a relative and a neighbor, somebody from work, and pack them in as big as you can. We're going to have a fun day. If you've not been to a straw poll, it's kind of like a political convention and a state fair all rolled into one great big day. We're going to bring up something real special from my hometown of Hope, Arkansas. You know, it's home of the world's largest watermelon. You may not have known that. You will Saturday. You're going to see the biggest watermelon you've ever seen in your life. We're going to give it away to some lucky person. How you get it home, God only knows. I don't know. But I know we don't want to carry that thing back. It's huge. So we're going to give it away, but in addition, we're going to have a whole lot of good watermelons from my hometown that you'll enjoy. It is, seriously, the home of a 295-pound watermelon. We're not bringing that one up here. But in addition to that, I have a band, Capital Offense. We'll be playing Saturday. Yeah, there you go, Susan. She's heard us and she still claps. That's what's amazing to me. Now, I do want you to vote before you hear the band, okay? I can't afford to have you hear the band and then say, I'm not voting for a guy that plays like that. So vote first and then come hear the band. Voting is between 10 and 5. And our band will be playing a couple of times during the day. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great day for your families. And anybody who is 18 before November of 2008 and has an Iowa driver's license and a pulse can vote. That's one criteria. It's a little different than it is in Arkansas. You don't have to have a pulse to vote always in Arkansas. You can vote, dead or alive, right out of the grave. On Election Day one year, we had a couple of guys that were out the cemetery taking names off tombstones, as they normally do on Election Day. They get the names, and they go to the courthouse and vote the dead. That's why I'm a Christian. I believe in the resurrection. I saw it every election day in my state. And they got to one grave, they couldn't really read the name very well, and one of the guys said, he says, did you get the name off that grave? He said, no, I couldn't read it. He said, go back and get that name. He said, I told you I couldn't make it out. He said, I said, go back and get the name. And his partner said, I told you, it's so weather-worn, I can't make out what it is. He said, however you have to do it, you get the name off that grave, that guy has as much right to vote in this election as anybody else in this cemetery. So if folks are going to vote for me, our slogan is vote early and vote often. If they're going to vote for somebody else, let the air out of their tires. Tell them the straw poll has been moved to September. This nonsense about it doesn't matter who you vote for as long as you vote. That may be for other people. It's not for us. It matters who you vote for. So let's remember that on Saturday. Over the course of the last few weeks since we've been here in Iowa, we've talked to a lot of people. Let me tell you why the Iowa straw poll is important, not just for me. It's important for you, and let me tell you why. A lot of people would love to see Iowa lose its place as this land where every presidential candidate has to spend a whole lot of time coming to picnics and parties and farmhouses and cafes and diners and eateries all over the place. They say it's not fair that Iowa has all this attention. Fair or not, Iowa has it. Let me tell you what's good about it. It forces that a person who wants to be president would have to sit down and talk to the guy in Orange City that lost his job, or the single mom who's working 2 jobs just to make sure her kids have clothes and food. It forces people like me who want to be president to come out in a place like this and not just hang out at the nice cocktail parties in Georgetown or Manhattan and collect big checks and then go to the TV studio and read off a teleprompter some script that some consultant wrote. And I think you want a president who understands what life in the real world is like, what it's like to raise a family, what it's like to look into the eyes of somebody who's lost his job or fears he might, and to look into the eyes of a teenager who wonders whether he'll be able to afford going to college or whether his education is going to be worth getting. That's why what happened Saturday is more than just helping me to get to the next stage of the presidential race. Let's turn this election on its feet. Let's make this a place where people have to say, Iowa matters. And that's what you're going to do Saturday. We're going to have a great day, a lot of fun. We're going to make history Saturday. You're going to be a part of it. I don't want you to miss it. And I'm excited about your being there and my being there. I want to turn the closing remarks over to Bob Vanderplatz, who is my statewide chairman. The only thing that's going to give me more fun than being elected President of the United States is coming back as President and campaigning when Bob Vanderplatz is elected Governor of Iowa in a few years. Join me in welcoming Bob Vanderplatz.
Well, first of all, isn't it great to be in Iowa where we get to do this? We get to interview the candidates. We get to vet the candidates. You bet. It's great to be in Iowa. And Iowa needs to have this place. As Governor just said, and I don't know about you, but I know about me. I believe we need a President Huckabee appointing the next Supreme Court Justice.